Hello, it's me again. How are you guys, grade 3s? It's so lovely for me to be here with you again today. Your maths teacher, Les, having a wonderful time teaching these maths lessons with you. And so I'm so excited to carry on. I hope everybody's fine, learning a lot and full of energy. And today we're going to carry on looking a little bit more at graphs, because we started with pictographs the other day, and now we're going to be looking at other graphs. So let's see what we've got in store for ourselves today. So as you know, grade 3s, this is proudly brought to you by WorksheetCloud. There is the email address if you need to get hold of me. Okay, and just to give you an idea of what it is we're going to be covering today, we're going to look at bar graphs, we're going to look at pie charts and line graphs. And now, can you remember what I said about graphs the last time? That graphs are pictures that show us information that we have gathered. And another name for that information is, who remembers? It starts with a D, data. Right, so data is information that we collect and we put it on a beautiful graph, whether it's a pie chart, a bar graph, or a pictograph, or a line graph, and it's easy to look at. It's easy to get quick answers from it. It's visual and it's so much nicer than reading for information sometimes. It's very, very quick. Alright, so we're going to quickly revise pictographs, which is what we did the last time, because that's the right thing to do. You go back and you remember what you've learned before you go on to what you learn in the new section of the work. So there is a picture of ice creams of grade 8s and grade 7s sold during lunchtimes. Oh, they look absolutely delicious. And the key at the bottom, remember the key, guys, the key tells us how much each little picture represents. So that ice cream at the bottom there stands for 10 ice creams. So how many ice creams then are you going to work out that the grade 8s sold? Let's start with the grade 8s at the top. Okay, so let's have a look. There are 5 ice creams, but remember, it's not just 5. It is 5 times 10, which is 50, because each ice cream is 10. So we have to count 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. All right, now let's look and see what the grade 7s managed to sell. They sold more than the grade 8s, and they sold, yes, they sold 6 times 10. So each ice cream stands for 10. If they have 6 ice creams, it means they sold 60 ice creams altogether, 6 times 10. And there's a pictograph example for you. Here's another pictograph. And let's have a quick look, guys, at when I find my little pen. Where am I? I'm jumping around all over the place. There we go. If I find my little pen and show you, down here is where you have the key. So what does it say? It says one little boy represents 2 boys and one picture of the little girl represents 2 girls. So let's have a look. It says there, how many boys and girls are in the science class? Well, if each little boy is 2, then there are 5 little boys in the science class, but times 2 is, yes, 10. And there are 4 little girls in the science class, but we have to times them by 2, so there are 8 little girls, and altogether there are 18 children. 10 are boys and 8 are girls, and we can look at that quickly. We can quickly see that there are more boys than girls without having to read one word. That's what I love about these things, because they're pictorial, they're visual, they're colorful, and they're quick to be able to read and get information or data off them. All right, and here's another one which is talking about favorite sports. Okay, so each cross represents 5 people who voted for those sports. So for instance, the first one over here is, that looks like a baseball. So that's baseball, and there are 6 little crosses, which tells me that there represents 6 times 5, which is 30. And then this one here is a basketball, And that there is 3. So 3 times 5 is 15. And the football, because this looks like an American football, also has 3 people voted for it being their favorite sport, which is times by 5, because here we have our key at the bottom. So that there is timesing by 5, because that's the key. Let me just change this color. It's not working that well. Let's just highlight it like that's better. All right, and then the last one, which is a soccer ball, 4 children voted for that, or 4 crosses were the votes for that, but times by 5 is 20. Fabulous. Great. So which 2 sports have the same votes? Well, let's go back to the little pictograph. Yes, it was basketball and football. Next question, which sport is the most favorite? Well, it was baseball. Correct. How many people like basketball? Well, there's basketball there. That's got, basketball has got 3 times 5 is 15. I'm not going to write all the answers in because we can just do it already now. A new concept that you're going to learn is called telling or tally marks. This is the way we record information sometimes. And in my classes, they have groups, and so they score points for their groups. And on their group chart, they go and score tally marks. So if I say you've got 1 point, they draw 1 little mark. Right, so I'm going to show you how this is done. Children in class score points for good behavior. Jenny scored the following points in 1 week. So on a Monday, she scored 13 points for good behavior. Now notice how she did this. She did 4 little stripes, and then she did 5, the 5th little stripe across. So we count in 5s. There is 5 little tally marks. There's another 5. So every time you're counting your tallies, you do 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th one crosses it out almost to show that there is 5 being completed. Then of course there's the 3, which shows us the 13. And here's 19. We count 5, 10, 15 plus 4 little separate ones there gives me 19. Then there's 16, which is 5, 10, 15, and the little one there is 16. And then 12 is 5, 10, 11, 12. And 15 is 5, 10, 15. Okay, now let's add Saturday to that, shall we? Let's put Saturday in here. Let's hope this behaves itself. And let's say that she scored, say, 9 on Saturday. Okay, so now we are going to draw our tally lines. Okay, so she got good behavior for greeting someone properly, so she went and put 1 tally mark, and then she got another point for saying good morning to someone who walked into the classroom with good manners. Her 3rd point she got for tidy writing, 4th point for good reading, and now the 5th point she got for doing her tables test so well. Then what did Jen do? Well, that was 5 points. Her 6th point she scored was for speaking Afrikaans beautifully. 7th point was for tidying up after break and putting her lunch bag away. Her 8th point she scored on Saturday was tidying her desk without being asked to. She was amazing. And then her 9th point was for sitting quietly after she'd finished her work. So there's our tally. All right, so what am I showing you? There is her 5. That's how we do 5. And we do our 4 little separate ones. And when the 5th ones come, let's assume she got another one. And she got 1 more for walking quietly to the car when she went home. And that one would go across the 4 to make a 5. But I'm going to just undo that because it doesn't match with the 9. All right. Next one. Okay, now we're going to add these up. We're going to tally up, do tally marks for the triangle and tally marks for our little kite or our diamond shape or our cube shape, depending which way you look at it. So let's count our our triangles first, shall we, guys? All right, so let's count our triangle. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Right, let's quickly do our tally. I've already done one there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to do 15 though. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The fifth one goes across there. And then 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And each time you see that, you know to count in fives. It makes it easier for you to tally it up and count it at the end. Okay, now I'm going to count up our little cubes and do exactly the same thing. Right, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So let's do the tally now, grade 3s, okay? And then we'll put the numbers in later. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops, did I do something wrong? Yes, I did. I have to put 5 that way. Okay, so how many did we say there were? 11. Let's do the next one. 6, 7, 8, 9. Oops, can't do the 10th one like that. We have to do it across. So that little crossbar one counts for the 5th tally of the 5th count. So that's 5, that's 10. We do one more and then it is 11. So we're going to count there and put 11, and this one is 15. And that's how we tally up numbers. It's very important. It's a lovely skill to learn. Now this is quite fun, because this now we're going to do telling, but we're going to spin the dice, which is quite a lot of fun. It says how many times did the spinner land on each color. So we're going to do a few spins just for some fun. Okay, now I'm going to click on that and let's see where the first one lands. Just on the green. So I'm going to take this tally, I'm going to put it down there. Let's do it again. A bit slower this time, and now that one is put on the, oh golly, let's move this up a bit. Okay, so I should have done that earlier. Across. So the first one was on, well, let's start it again. Grade 3s, because I will forget. Alright, let's do it again. Red. So this one goes on red. And again. Don't you love the spinner? I could play it all day. Orange. Right, so this is how we are telling up as we go along, so that we can remember when we at the end we can count. Next one. Blue. Just as well it doesn't land on the same color all the time. Next one. I might not do all of them, I might just take a little bit of time. Red. So red has got 2 so far. Next one. White. Next. And orange. And again. Green. And again. Orange. Purple. What do you think the next one is going to be? Red. Okay, so I'm just going to do that amount for now, but normally under different circumstances somebody would say, right, you're going to spin your little spinner 10 times or 20 spins like that said. Out of 20 spins, how many does each one get? I'm not going to go and do all of them because we need to get on with the lesson, but that gives you the idea. Right, now we're going to look at bar graphs, tally marks, and pictographs as well. Right, here's a pictograph. How many can you count? Well, you know that if it looks like this, we are counting 5, 10, plus 3 is 13. And this one now, we're counting 5, 10, 15, plus 4 is 19. This little mushroom, nobody really liked favorite pizza toppings with mushroom, did they? There are only 7 people like that. And then bacon looks like that was the most favorite. So we're going to go 5, 10, 15, 20. See how nicely it is to count in, nice it is to count in fives. 20 plus 4, which is 24. Now we've tallied up favorite pizza toppings. Pepperoni, 13. Sausage, 19. Mushroom, 7. And bacon, 24. So bacon was the winner by far. All right, and here now we've taken a pictograph and we've made it into a proper graph. And I want you to pay attention to a few things, grade 3s, that you're going to notice. And what color? I think I'll choose this, my favorite color. What you're going to notice is that always with a bar graph, you're going to have a title. We're going to identify this, and it's called the favorite pizza topping. So I need to know what this graph is all about. And it is showing favorite pizza topping or toppings. On the left hand side here, you can see that you've got 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. We're counting. We're not going to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not enough space. But every 5 little row, we're going to put 5 and then 10, which helps us count the number of votes for pizza toppings. And I've got to label this too. I could have just said number of votes. That would have been 5 because that there helps me to decide the number of votes, or to show the number of votes, those numbers on our vertical axis, which means the axis or the line that's going upwards. And that's the label for that one. Then at the bottom here, we've got names for each column. This is a column here. That's a column, 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 and a column. So we're going to label our columns. There's pepperoni column. There's a sausage column, the mushroom column, and the bacon column. All right, and the name that we're going to label those names is types of pizza toppings, isn't it? That's exactly what that is. Pepperoni, sausage, mushroom, and bacon is types of pizza toppings. And then, of course, here is where we end up. If I put a line here, pepperoni, that was 13. If you remember, if we go back there, pepperoni was 13. How much was sausage? 19. So sausage is just 1 before 20. And then let's see, what was mushrooms? It was 7. How many people chose mushrooms? And there's mushroom is colored in up to the 7 line. And then bacon, well, it looks like it's 24. Have I done it correctly? Yes, so bacon is way up here, and it's the most, up to 24. Okay, so that is taking a pictogram like this, with all its data and information, and putting it into a bar graph. These are bars. Okay, so that's why it's called a bar graph. And you've got your title at the top, you've got your label over there, and you've got your label at the bottom as well. Okay, now this one now talks about pencils sold in a school store or a school shop. Which colors were sold? All right, so on Monday, there were, how many were sold? Well, if we have a look here, you can see that we are counting everything in twos. So we start at the bottom. There would be a 0, should be at the bottom. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and 14 to 16. So if we see that the little bar goes up to between 14 and 16, then that must be 15. All right. On Tuesday, there were 12 colored pencils sold. On Wednesday, there were 7, because it's between 6 and 8. On Thursday, 10. And on Friday, 16. How many pencils were sold? We've covered all those. I'm not going to go over it again. But let's look at number 2. Which day had the least amount of pencils sold? Well, let's go and look back at our graph. It was Wednesday, was the least amount, only 7 were sold. Which day had the most pencils, colored pencils got sold? And that was on Friday, because everybody got their pocket money maybe. Okay, so perfect. And we answer questions on graphs all the time. And people in business, in big business, use graphs. And people in sport use graphs. Everybody uses graphs to show information. If we had to make a tally table for the pencil graph, remember, there were 15 sold on Monday, so that's what that would look like. 5, 10, 15. There were 12 sold on Tuesday. There is 5, 10 plus 2 is 12. 7 only on Wednesday, so there's 5 and plus my 2, 7. 10 on Thursday. Whoa, I've made a mistake. What have I done here? I made it 15. Is it 15? Let's see if I made a mistake. Let's see. No, it's 10. So that tally is wrong. I'm going to have to cross that one out. It's 10. And Friday is 16. So we're going to go 5, 10, 15, and the little one at the end is 16. Let's have a look at line graphs. Right, so a line graph plots little dots on the line. So this graph shows us weekly temperatures, grade 3. And here we've got a label again. We have labeled, what is the title of my graph? It's called weekly temperatures. Otherwise, I don't know what that picture shows. I've got to give it a title. Okay, so if I go to a meeting and nobody knows me at the meeting, I need to put a label on my jersey or my jacket so that says there it's Les. Your name is Les. Right, so this is a label as well. And then down the side here, we're showing our temperatures in degrees. Okay, and at the bottom is days of the week. Right, so now I'm going to start off with putting in our temperatures over here, just to give you an idea. And I'm going to start off with quite a low temperature. So I'm going to put it, and it's got to be on the line. The bottom line is a 0, grade 3. So this one, let's go and let's make this 18 degrees. Okay, like in Cape Town, 18 degrees in early, just before winter is probably quite a normal temperature. And then over here, we're going to make it jump in 1 degree at a time. So 19, 20, 21 degrees, 22 degrees, whoopsie daisy, let's change the size of that font, 22 degrees, another one, 23 degrees. Alright, so there we've got our degrees, and I'm going to show you now. So on Monday it was 20 degrees. On Tuesday it was 22, and Wednesday stayed the same, 22. Then on Thursday it went down to 21, and on Friday was the warmest day, which was 23 degrees. So that there is a line graph, and you would then just join up to show how the temperatures go up and down, and that gives you an idea of the progression of something. So what was the temperature on Monday? Well, we've answered all those questions. It was 20, Tuesday was 22, so was Wednesday, Thursday was 21, and Friday was 23. Which was the warmest day? Friday was the warmest day. Right, and which 2 days had the same temperature? That was Tuesday and Wednesday. And which is the coolest day? Well, it was Monday. Sometimes Monday is always your best day. Hey, when you actually after a rainy weekend, and often Mondays is the best day. Right, and here's one doing packages of ice creams. Okay, so again, what have we got? We've got the title. This is very important. The title. If I don't tell you that this is showing ice creams, my goodness, then it's totally useless. At the bottom, it tells you the months, okay? And there on the side, it says the packages of ice creams, or the numbers of ice creams that were sold. And it's going to ask us now to plot the number of packages sold, and then to connect the points to show the trend, to show where the sales went up, where it stayed the same, and where it came down again. Righty, so I am going to choose red, I think. Okay, and it says here that in November they sold 12 packages. So here's November. They've mixed them up a little bit, so let's just do it. November they sold 12. So we're going to put a little cross on where it matches up with 12 there, okay, November, and there's the 12 score right there. January is 18, so let's find January. January goes up to 18. Let's put a little cross there. September is only 3 packages. I wonder why that is. So September they only sold 3 packages, and February was 21. So 21 is up there. And notice that we're jumping in 3s. Okay, so we're jumping in 3s as we go up here as we're counting our ice creams. And then October is 9. October is 9. And the last one is December, which is 6. Whoops, October, Mrs. Harwin, seriously. October is 9, which is there. See, even teachers can make mistakes. And what was December again? December was 6, which is there. Okay, now I've got to do a line to join these up, and I'm just going to use the same red line, but maybe I should make it a little bit skinnier. Let's have a look and see if I can do it with a crayon. Okay, let's do it with the crayon. So we're going to start, and this is the trend. All right. And so on. Right. Okay, so September, then October, November, December, January, and February. And now you can see the sales skyrocket from December. So this company who's selling these will say, wow, this was a great 2 months. We sold a lot. We made a lot of money. Oopsie daisy, what's the problem in September? Why is that? Why were we not selling great stuff? Amounts of ice creams, and that's where people sit and have a meeting and look at the trends and look and see how things have been going with their sales. I'm not going to go through that. We've already done those questions. Now the pie graphs, which are actually quite fun, grade 3. So I want you to take careful look at the key. Remember we talked about key when we did pictographs, and the key here gives you a whole lot of information. What does it tell me? Well, firstly, it tells me for instance, that pizza is represented by pink, right? So pizza is pink. Here it is. Tacos are green. Hot dogs is blue. And hamburgers are this pale grey, greeny color. So what has got the most that is sold? Right, so pizza had sold 40. If I said to you how many tacos were sold, well, you'd say, well, green is tacos, so 10. And then hamburgers and hot dogs, they both sold the same amount. So how many students were asked about what their favorite lunch is? Well, sorry, it wasn't sold, it was their favorite lunch. Well, let's add up here. 40 plus 10 is 50, plus there's 5 and 5, which is 10, is 60. Correct. How many students liked hot dogs? Well, hot dogs is the blue one. 5 students liked hot dogs. How many students liked hamburgers? Where are the hamburgers? That's that color. Also 5. And did more students like tacos or hamburgers? Which was more popular? Tacos are 10. So hamburgers were only 5. So more people like tacos than hamburgers. And of course, pizza was the winner with most sold. So the pizzas were the winner. And so now that is the end of our lesson, grade 3. And I hope that you enjoyed that, because it's nice and visual and colorful, and you can actually do your own. You can go and get your own information. Go and ask your family, what's your favorite pudding? And then you can tally it up on a tally sheet, and then you can draw any or all the kind of graphs that you'd like to, and create your own graphs. So that's something for you to learn and use yourselves. And then maybe you can even teach somebody at school how to do these graphs as well. All right, so grade 3s, that just means that from me, I need to say a lovely goodbye. Thank you for having me share this time with you, and I will see you next time. Don't forget, there is a worksheet to download and do on graphs based on this video, and it'll be great to see how well you do with that. And there's a memo which you can use to mark your work. And I've had a lovely, happy time with you. Thank you for having me, and I love being here with you. So all that's left for me to say, grade 3s at home, Goodbye. Cheerio.